Hey, bros.
Hey,
buddy.
And welcome to episode number 10 of Three Bros and a Buddy. I am here with my pristine fellow co-hosts, Paul, Braden, and Ben. Today we've got a variety of topics we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the association. We're going to talk about all the playoff series so far and what we think is going to continue to happen in round one. We're going to touch a little bit on the MLB, continue to talk about the surprise teams, the Pirates, the Orioles, and the Rangers. We're also going to touch on the NFL. The NFL draft is tomorrow at the time of recording, and we're going to touch on the Aaron Rodgers trade to the Jets and talk about the ramifications of that. We're also going to talk a little bit about the Paris Olympics in 2024 and some early ticket sales, and we'll touch a little bit on the NHL. So we got a big show today. So without further ado, Paul, you want to lead us into our first topic?
Yeah, are we going to start with the NBA?
Yeah,
Start the league.
Let's do it.
All right, so thoughts about playoffs. Let's just go. Go around.
How about them Lakers?
Them
How about them
Lakers.
Lakers?
How about them Lakers? I think the playoffs so far have been phenomenal. I really like the series. I like
Yeah.
seeing the Knicks winning games. I'm kind of surprised. Jalen Brunson is a
Looked
very good basketball
unbelievable.
player. Beating up on Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell is a very good playoff performer. So it's good to see the Knicks beating on the Cavs.
Their home court's unbelievable too. The energy.
You know,
they
that
have there.
energy in Madison Square Garden is ridiculous. And then also teams like the Lakers. Suns just whooped up on the Clippers. You know, the Celtics and Hawks series is getting pretty interesting.
It's closer than it should have been.
And my finals pick for the Bucks, not looking good right now. The Heat, Jimmy Butler.
Well,
that playoff
you also have
performance
to consider the fact that Giannis was out.
for a game.
I mean,
For
too. I mean, but I would even say, even with Giannis, they have not
They
played
still
well.
haven't.
Yeah, I
We-
mean, well, he's obviously battling through an injury if he's back this early because he was supposed to be out for the whole series. Am I right?
I think it was like a
Wasn't it?
It was
Yeah.
Wasn't
kind
it?
of a day-to-day
Day-to-day.
It was
issue.
a day to day.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was the whole series.
Well, anyways, I was going to make the point that their roster is not very well constructed. I would make the argument it's not very well constructed.
I mean, we've talked about how they have really one superstar, and then it's
Can you let me go?
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
That was the only thing I was going to say anyway.
Okay, interrupt me twice. But anyways, yeah, I think they're just not a really well constructed roster. I mean, I think Middleton and Holiday, I think they're very fine, very good players, but I just don't think they're a good enough number 2 and number 3. I mean, they were a couple of years ago, but I don't think that roster is constructed well enough to win a title now.
I want to back that. I think both Holiday and Middleton could be considered threes, but they don't have like a legit 2 right now. And Holiday has seemed pretty turnover prone right now. He's not taking good care of the ball. You know, Giannis had a couple plays down the stretch in this game 4 where looked like he was forcing shots early in the shot clock. He could have got better looks, trying to find better shots. And just the way Jimmy Butler's playing and the Heat's defense, I think that they take it in 5.
Wow. In Milwaukee, that's impressive. Brandon, what do you think?
I am surprised that the Heat are playing as well as they are, knowing the fact that they did lose to the Hawks in the playing game. But I don't know, they just caught fire. They were looking really good. I mean, the Bucks they're looking completely overwhelmed right now by them. I don't think that they're gonna win in 5. I think they're gonna win in 6, but I do think that they're gonna beat the Bucks. I don't know. I just have a feeling. Which is kind of weird to say because I thought the Bucks were gonna at least Eastern Conference Finals, but I was even thinking the finals. Like I think I might have had them
Yeah, I think so.
in my finals. I think I had the Clippers as well, which obviously that looks terrible with PG and Kawhi having to be injured. Just like what the fuck.
Yeah,
And the Suns just they got too much scored.
yeah, I know. I agree with you guys. I mean, with the Bucks, I think they can get back into it. I don't think it's over.
There's definitely a slim chance that
They could literally win
be
the
a team
series,
that
but
could come back.
I just think it's
They can come
gonna
back
be- I think they're gonna win.
Because I still think Miami themselves is limited. I mean, you had to have 56 from Jimmy to win that game. I mean, it's
And
one
they
of
were
the greatest
down.
playoff performances ever.
They were down 12 at a point. Too.
Unbelievable.
Jimmy Butler really
Yeah.
and Caleb Martin.
And he
shout out
can't
to
do
Caleb
that
Martin.
every day. Like
No.
he can't do that every game.
He did it 2020. I don't know.
He's
Playoff
just,
Jimmy Butler's legit.
Jimmy Butler, when they played the Celtics, always kills the Celtics too. So, if that ended up being a matchup when it came time, as a Celtics fan, I would not be too comfortable.
Not want to face that.
I think the Heat match up better with the Celtics and the Bucks, dude. If I was a Celtics fan, I would rather face the Bucks. I think the Celtics have a good core to limit Giannis, but having an answer for Jimmy Butler.
I mean,
which they haven't really had in the past, it seems like.
I mean,
They
To-
eliminated
to
him
an
in
extent.
2021, right? They lost to him. I know the
To an
Celtics
extent.
lost the Eastern Conference Finals in the bubble. Was
they
it
beat them
last year they beat them?
them.
Yeah.
But remember, I mean, I feel like that series went longer than it should have. It went 7 last year, but I mean, and Jimmy's a shot away from them going to the finals again. So,
That is true.
I mean, I think the Celtics, and we can get into that series if you guys want to, but they obviously have matchup problems with guards, especially really good guards, and good forwards like Durant, Butler. I'm not saying Tatum or Brown are bad defenders, but forwards have their way. Guards, they do a little better because Brogdon and Smart, but last night's loss is really inexcusable. I mean, you're up by 13 with 5 minutes to go. It's not a very good team you're playing. I like Quinn Snyder. I like their roster. They're still relatively young. They're without arguably their best. I mean, not even arguably, like their best player in the series has been DeJounte Murray. And he was out last night, and you lost on your home floor, and that's terrible. And especially when you know the 76ers swept and the Nets.
Yeah, they're getting on this rest and stuff. They're gonna be ready to play.
And Embiid's been out, and it's just terrible. It's inexcusable. It's really bad. And again, we can talk about Ime Udoka's character or whatever, but him not being there as a coach is a big deal because he's a great defensive coach. And he drew up way better plays than Joe. I mean, he just draws up some of the worst plays I've ever seen. Last night, 1.8 seconds left. And I know Al's probably the fourth option there, but they try to give the ball to Al. What are you
Yeah,
doing?
it took a lot of the time off the clock. Just the 1.8. I was still feeling like at that point, like, okay, there's a chance that they can hit a bucket and win the game, but then he basically fumbles the basketball. Like takes almost all of the time off the clock, and you can't do anything at that point.
Right.
It was a hell of a last shot by Trae Young though in that three. That was ridiculous.
I knew it was going in.
That was
Shot it.
ridiculous.
That's one of those plays where like the ball leaves the guy's hand and you're like, he's in it. And
I was like,
if he
damn.
doesn's make that, that's his season's over.
Yeah,
So shout out Ice Trae.
that's clutch. That is just a clutch player.
He hasn't played well in this series, but last night he was very, very.
I think he stepped out with
DeJounte Murray.
DeJounte out. I think he stepped up
Yeah.
and filled big shoes, which I think we saw. Was it just like last year, 2 years ago when they made the
35,
Eastern Conference
30,
Finals and forced like
And
6
he's been
games?
playing for
Yeah, I mean,
15, 9, 13.
yeah. I mean, he's scoring around 30 points a game still. So
Well, I mean, I'm just saying he's shooting. I mean, how many? He took 40 shots last night.
33.
He takes a lot of shots. I mean, he's scoring a lot, but he's not effective
Yeah,
all the time.
14 for 33.
I mean, it's under 50%, but he's got to take those shots, and I think he's a very good player, but I just think I don't know if you guys agree with this, but I don't think he can be a 1 on the championship team. A very good 2, I think.
I don't think he could be a 1. I don't think your team, unless you. Yeah, he couldn't.
I don't know, man. Like if he's shooting that well, like you see Steph Curry.
He's
being
not
one.
shooting that well, but he's
He's
shooting a lot. There's a difference.
But he also was a terrible defender. Like Curry was a terrible defender, but now he's.
I like that. He needs a 1 if they're gonna win a championship. They need a 1. He's not gonna be your 1.
They're not going to get a
Or they need like another 2 or something.
They're kind of similarly constructed to what the Bulls are, where the Bulls have a bunch of 2s and 3s. I mean, DeJounte's really good. DeJounte's a good 2, even 3, I would say probably.
John Collins probably 2-3. He's not
Bogdanovich is like a really, really good player. I like Sadiq Bey, Capella. I mean, we've said they have a good roster, but this is not a roster that should compete with the
Celtics.
Celtics. So
No.
I hope they close it out Thursday in Atlanta, and they need to, because then they'll probably play Sunday against Philly, and I think they match up fine against Philly. I'm not terribly worried because they've rested Rob Williams, but they just got to get through this, and then they got to play better because Philly looked really good, and
Any more thoughts on the playoffs, or are we ready to move on to Embiid's flagrant versus Draymond's?
what do you guys think about that Clipper series? Signs it's over now.
I'm definitely very disappointed. Obviously, I'm a Paul George fan. For people who don't know, So I was hoping the Clippers won, and I thought they were gonna win in general, but obviously I knew he wasn't gonna be playing. But I thought he would potentially come back late in the series, but obviously it didn't happen. Then Kawhi Leonard obviously had to get injured. I think Russell Westbrook played unbelievable too. We need to give him props for that because that's not like he went out there and he balled like he did when he
Yeah.
was. He hooped. He's gotten a lot of hate these past couple of years, especially at the beginning of this year, getting like the blame from the Lakers. Not
He was
being
getting a
that
lot of
great.
rebounds.
Yeah, shout out to West.
A lot of
They
rebounds.
really-
He looked good.
It's best basketball he's played in 2 years, I
Yeah.
think. If they're healthy, they win that series.
I was saying,
They're even if they have one of those guys, they win that
you
series.
see game one, I mean, Kawhi played, and I mean, Suns had no answer for him. And then you see both of them are out, and Russell Westbrook's not
And
gonna.
they're pulling out like
Beat
6
Kevin
point
Durant.
victories and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
It's unfortunate.
they should have won. I mean, game 4 they were up. Game 3 I think they were up. Game 5 they were in it at the end. Even with Al Kawhi and Paul George, they still
They're
got
still serviceable.
yeah, they got Norman Powell who's played really well. They got Eric Gordon who's played well. I like Zubac obviously. But yeah, it just if they're healthy, even if one of those guys plays, they win that series. But I think it's time for them to probably blow that core up. I think of those two.
Mhm.
They should have won a title. I think it's been 4 years. It's been 4 or 5 years
Yeah,
at
since
this.
2019.
Yeah, so it's time. They should have won it in the bubble, but they didn't. I think it's time to blow it up because Kawhi can't stay healthy. Ty Lue said, he played I think 45 minutes, and I think game 2 was his last game he played. He played like 43, 45 minutes, and Ty Lue said we've been working so we could play this long the whole year, and then they're like, it's got a sprained knee. We're like, really? So I don't know. Shout out to the Suns. Devin Booker played really well, but that's because
Torn meniscus.
is that what they're saying?
Tore his meniscus.
Again? Jesus, man. He could not catch a break. But they doubled Durant, so Booker had those open looks. So, yeah, I think they're dangerous. I think that they can beat the Nuggets. The Nuggets didn't look too great against
No.
the Timberwolves.
Those last 2 games, no.
So, yeah, I think that's what's going to happen probably. But,
All right, are we ready to talk about the fouls?
do you guys have any other thoughts on any of the other series? Yeah, I'm good too.
All right, so for those of you who haven't seen, Joel Embiid and Draymond Green both have gotten ejected from games for flagrants recently, and I was watching the videos today, and Embiid's I think was justified. He basically
He tried to kick you in the
he
nuts.
kicked the guy. Yeah, kicked the guy right in the nuts. And
If
then
anything,
Wait, you said that was justified?
if anything, Draymond
no,
was
I'm
justified.
not saying justified in the sense of like it was a good thing that Embiid did.
Oh, that he got ejected.
Yeah,
I
I think
was
got
like,
ejected.
I was
Okay,
like,
so,
wow,
all right.
You gotta word
Yes,
that.
that-
You gotta
no.
word that better.
Yeah, right. You're right. I didn't word that correctly, but I thought Draymond's. I watched that video. It was really like all he did was when he came down, he was just basically looking for something to grab onto so he didn't fall over, and he ended up grabbing the guy's shirt. I didn't feel like it was that egregious. Am I wrong?
Draymond stepped on
Yeah,
Sabonis'
he stepped on
chest.
Sabonis.
Oh, I was looking at the wrong video then. Okay.
He stomped right on
Yeah,
Sabonis'
so what happened was
Okay.
Domantas Sabonis fell over on a rebound.
Okay. Yes, I know
And
we're.
he
I know we're
grabbed
talking about
Draymond
now.
Green's ankle.
Yes, I
and
know
then
what we're talking about.
Draymond
Yeah, no, that
stepped
was
on
okay. That was egregious. They were relatively the same thing. See, I looked up Draymond Green flagrant, and the first thing that came up was
There's a lot of
He's had a
them.
lot.
There's a lot
No,
of them.
I know,
There's a
I know.
lot of
Kicking
them.
Steven
I
Adams in
know.
the nuts.
LeBron.
LeBron.
No, I know he's like known for that, but no, I've seen this video. Yeah. Okay,
I
yeah,
mean, he
no,
looks
that,
down. Like,
that
he
was-
looks down and, like,
that
stomps.
was
Yeah.
that was egregious. I mean, like, you definitely should have been kicked out for that. I think kind of similar. Then they're very much similar fouls in the fact that they both kicked other
Yeah,
players.
involving kicking people.
Well, another one to compare it to, Dylan Brooks.
Oh, hitting LeBron in the nuts.
I mean, he did hit LeBron in the nuts, but it's not as bad as the other two.
No.
No.
Because it's almost like he's trying to go for the steal, but I think he's I don't know what he's trying to do. Who knows what he's thinking.
Dylan Brooks has
You
been
never
all
know.
over the place lately with
I want to.
just comments on social media and
I I
It's
want
been bad.
I want to say this. I've seen him play since he was at Oregon. He's always been like a punk since he's been at Oregon. He was really good.
I watched him at Oregon.
He was really good in college, but he's an average NBA player, and he thinks
Talks a lot of smack.
he does.
He literally thinks he's of the best in the world.
Them in
I
Memphis.
thought what the Lakers did with that graphic that they put up was pretty funny.
Yeah, putting his
Comparing
finger
him
up
to
LeBron's.
LeBron and then saying you're not him, basically. that was funny. And honestly, like, not to be like, I don't wish bad on anyone, but he kind of deserved that, just the way he acts, particularly with
Yeah, I'm not upset. He got
particularly with
he
the
got
media
touched.
and the way he acts towards other players in the league. It's not good PR for the Grizzlies in the first place.
They're already in that
I think,
tough issue with that.
yeah, I mean, already with all the stuff that happened with Ja, and now, you add Dylan Brooks into it, like, they are kind of gaining a poor reputation.
Trying to be some
and-
tough guy.
I wonder if I'm the Grizzlies owner, the Grizzlies GM, I'm thinking, is this guy really good for my franchise when he's, like Hammy said, a league average player and doesn't add that much value? Like, if it was a superstar, I could maybe understand why they would keep him, because he produces a lot and he, will sell jerseys and sell tickets. But I don't see Dylan Brooks doing that. So there's really no reason to hold on to him. Am I
I mean,
incorrect?
yeah, I'm not sure I'm pretty sure he's coming up on a contract here. I'm not sure.
Ideas.
Yeah, right. He's got to be. I mean, yeah.
Do you think they resign him or do you think they drop him?
I think they're gonna resign him.
I
I don't think anybody else.
I think. I mean, if somebody would
Just
take
because
him.
no one else wants him doesn't mean
He's
they-
not he's not a bad.
He's
player.
not a
He
bad basketball.
he's
Somebody
not-
will take him.
yeah,
I don't know if it's
He
the
can hit
Grizzlies.
some threes, and then
He's
he
a-
can play some decent defense.
He's an okay.
But is
defender.
it
not against
worth it to
LeBron?
do?
Not obviously not.
Is it worth it to deal with the PR disaster?
I think for the Grizzlies, yes, because
It's good for their roster.
I think the Grizzlies just like at this
He's giving
point
them like I don't even know what you would say. I mean,
they like
to
the
us it's
attention or
dirty,
something.
but it's like he's giving them like some type of like confidence or like some type of
I don't
He
know.
just fits what they're trying. He fits their culture. I
He
think
does.
that's the best way to. He fits their culture. I mean, I think he could be fine anywhere else. I mean, I think he could be good on any team that like needed. No, for depth, the Suns. The Suns needed a backup small forward. He could do that, right?
Yep.
Trying to think of another team. The Clippers, even maybe as a backup there, like somewhere where you just need a backup to like a star. I feel like he'd be a really good guy off the bench. He could start some places, like if you wanted to go to a really bad team, Houston, but yeah, he's fine. But when what did he said like LeBron hasn't done anything yet because he hasn't scored 40 on
Yeah.
me, and then like simultaneously like the next full game that he played, game 4, he gave up 20 points, or he didn't give them up all, but LeBron had a 20-20 in his 20th year, and he hit the big shot in overtime on him, the and one. Like really,
Brooks said he was going to take him left to cut him off like a month ago. He said that. And
No
LeBron
matter
just
what
drove right
he
past him
does,
on the
yes.
left.
which is crazy
No
because
matter what he does, he'll never stop LeBron. It's just crazy.
if you think of LeBron, like I would say since like that 2011 finals against the Mavs, he's honestly been better driving left. I think if
He's so good at going left.
like
I remember that game winner against the Pacers in
It was a left-handed layup.
2013.
It was a
He
left-handed
took a
layup.
left-handed layup on Paul George in game 1.
You remember the floater he hits go into the baseline against Toronto, the left
Toronto.
baseline,
Yep.
and he just throws it. It's one
Off
of
the
his
backboard.
best game winners. And again, everybody says he's not a clutch player, but he has the most. I think he has the most game winners or game tying shots in the playoffs. And he tied the game the other night. He hit that. He's incredible. It's
ridiculous.
just it's sometimes like with those great athletes, like even with Brady and stuff.
We don't appreciate it when we have it.
We really like honestly undervalue it. I'm sure people with
People love to hate on greatness.
yeah they do.
Oh yeah.
And especially with his his counterpart Anthony Davis been like terrible, like really bad. I mean we talked about the playoff series, but if that would, we didn't even touch on Golden State Sacramento, but
Oh,
I forgot. I was gonna mention that.
How
but
did
I'm
we
like-
not talk about that?
that's the best series.
Yeah,
It's been a fantastic series. Can we touch on that?
Yeah, let's talk about that real quick.
Wow, what just a good back end. It's gonna go 7.
I hope it does.
I hope De'Aaron Fox is
wouldn't-
okay. I know he's playing, but I don't know about his full health. He is so good. They are. That's the first time I've watched a full game with them. Was Saturday or Sunday when they played, and they're really good at the mid range game.
They're legit team.
I like
Playing
their core.
tonight.
They're
Yeah.
legit.
I like their core. Keegan Murray, very good. Malik Monk, Sabonis, Kevin
Herter.
Herter is very good.
Harrison Barnes has
Harrison
played
Barnes.
really well.
Malik Monk.
Yeah, they got a good team.
Now I know a lot of people are complaining about Harrison Barnes taking that last shot. We had a friend complaining about it, but I think you know.
We don't have to call them out. I think we know who he's referring
Yeah,
to.
yeah,
He was complaining, like about De'Aaron Fox passing it off.
yeah.
What?
I mean, that's the right play. We
That's
agree
a,
on
yeah,
that,
that's
right?
the right play. That's a
play.
good
Yeah.
shot. He just missed
You're
it.
gonna take an open shot.
He
all day.
just missed the shot. Like, what do you? How
He's
could
not.
he get
He's
that?
not. It's also not like he's like the worst 3-point. He's not a great 3-point shooter, but he's wide
Yeah,
open.
you
He makes
want
some
other
big
people.
shots with Golden State.
He
He
could
is
hit
wide
that shot
open.
9 times out of 10.
Yeah, he's wide open. It's just like I think it was a fine shot.
And what is De'Aaron Fox gonna take a double clutch in 2 people's face?
I kind of wish that De'Aaron just pulled up because he did that.
I would love to see it too.
He pulled up a couple plays before that. Yeah, literally because Steph called the timeout and they didn't have it, and then he literally pulled up from 3. And he's not a great 3-point shooter, but I thought he should have pulled up again because I think everybody on the planet knew he wanted to drive to the basket on Steph because Steph, like we were saying, is not a fantastic defender. But we knew the double was coming from Draymond. And also shout out to Draymond. I know a lot of people don't like him. I'm not a huge fan of him, but he came off the bench. He came off the bench after Looney played well, and Looney's continued to play well. And Draymond even played, I thought, well for what he is now. But that's been a great series, and I think Golden State's going to pull it out. I just can't. Their ball movement is great. If you want, I mean, if it's like,
You don't want to go against them.
even though they're old still, I mean, I
They're
don't want
just
to.
so good.
It's just Curry still. It's just like anytime he pulls up, it's like it's going in.
Greatness is greatness, no matter how old it gets. You know, if you're still great and you're old, or if you're still old and you're still great, you're still great. You know what I'm trying to say?
That's a great.
I know what you're trying to say.
That's a
Greatness
I
lasts a
didn't. I
long
didn't
time.
phrase it
The
correctly.
way you said
but-
like.
I did not phrase that
Even if
correctly.
you're old,
But I think you understand my. I
No,
think you
yeah,
understand
I
my
know what you're
point.
saying.
That's a great take.
Greatness is greatness, no matter how old it is. That's what I meant to say.
He's still one of the best players in the world.
Jordan Poole's got to be better. He's been better.
Yep.
I don't like Jordan, but he's got to be better.
You see the meme that people were saying the Cavender twins have to show up.
Yeah, I saw that.
They have to like sit courtside because apparently he turns into prime Steph Curry when he sees some girls on the sideline.
All right.
Paul, Paul in the-
Are we
Paul
are,
in the-
Jeez.
are we done talking about the NBA for now?
That's
That's good.
All right. So
That's good.
we're gonna move on to the MLB. So let's start with probably I would say the feel good story of the week. MLB 33-year-old Drew Maggi making his rookie debut for the Pirates after 13 years in the minors. I saw it was over 1,500 games played in the minors or something. Like that is probably the best example of persistence that I have seen from a minor league player that I can think of. I
100%.
mean, you're in your you're in your early 30s and you're still
Trying
you know,
to play at the big
still
level.
trying to make it
Chasing your
up.
dream.
And like that is just the best example of you really can never give up on something that you're passionate about.
You also have time.
Yeah. And a lot of people feel like they have to get stuff like that done, in a few years, or like if they don't make it up by the time they're like 25 or 26. A lot of minor league guys think.
I would probably call it
I'll
quits
just
if I was a
quit.
minor league guy.
But just the incredible persistence that he had is that's why it's been all over social media this week. That's the reason it's a story in the first place. I mean, is there really anything else to say about that? Did I miss anything?
No. Congratulations.
Yeah, congrats. I know he was called up. Has he played any game?
I'm not seeing.
I
I
don't
do
think.
not think so.
It's also he got called up. It's a feel-good story also for them. I think that's also a good segue into their big signing that they had.
Yeah. So
Brian
the
Reynolds.
Pirates signed Brian Reynolds to an 8-year, $106.75 million contract. I was surprised. Well, first of all, it struck me when I saw the number that the 0.75 was weird to me. I was like, you don't see that on a lot of contracts. But it also struck me that I feel like he could have gotten way more money than he did.
Absolutely.
I mean, Brian Reynolds, I think we'll all probably agree is, top 15, top 20 outfielder in the MLB. And
Top 5 center fielder.
yeah, top 5 center
Sure.
fielder, I would say. And he could have gotten 20 plus a year, I think, at least 20 mil plus a year. I mean, that's not ridiculous to say, or somewhere around 20.
Well,
What is the AAV on this technically? It like 106 over 8.
You're looking at 15, probably. Yeah,
15. Yeah, I think he could have made 20 a year.
13. I think. Yeah, 13 in some shades.
13. Yeah, like it's not ridiculous to say he could have made 20. I mean, he has been one of the better center fielders over the last couple of years. Certainly top 10, if not top 5. So I was surprised that he didn't at least.
I think he could be he could make 20.
I mean, maybe we don't really know how the market was and what other teams were offering him. Maybe they
Well,
were.
it was just a negotiation between him and the Pirates.
They only negotiated.
There's a lot of
Well,
I'm surprised he didn't try to go elsewhere then and see
well,
how
it's,
much
no,
money.
no,
he
no,
could
no, no.
get.
It's in season, so he's trying. How old is he too? He's not even on his.
Look at how old he is.
Look up how.
How
old
many
he is.
years has he? He's only.
He's been in the league.
Like
I f- like
probably like 7.
I was gonna say like
Six,
5. I was gonna say 5.
I feel like 6 or 7.
since 2019.
2019.
Um,
So 5.
4 or 5.
So he's still on that rookie deal. That's 6 years. Well, depending on when they brought him up, they get that extra 7.
It's
So
28.
He's 28. Okay, so he's essentially entering the prime of his
Career.
athletic career.
But he just also he's had last year was good. He's been really good this year. He just had 2 really good years. It's the type of thing, and I want to make an analogy to Jalen Hurts. If you look at it right now, Jalen Hurts is the best quarterback in the NFC. That's crazy to say, but he's the best quarterback in the NFC. But he's only had 1 really good year. Byron Reynolds has only had 1.5.
For a baseball comparison, I think Anthony Rendon would be a good comp if we're talking about having only a couple of good years over their career.
I
It's just because
He got-
Rendon like
He got like 30.
basically won them a World Series.
I mean,
That's why he got
I think that's fair. I mean, he probably could have gotten more money if he waited, but also he's thinking, hey, I might not be this good.
Get the money while I
He's
can.
28, right?
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, get the money while you can. He probably likes it in Pittsburgh if he's re-signing in the middle of the year.
probably, especially with an 8-year. And maybe, with their hot start this year, he thinks, oh, maybe things are looking up in this franchise now. And, maybe there's a path to historically turning it around. And, maybe this will be a winning ball club we can talk about that, but I'm saying maybe that's his thought process.
Right, and it's also like I don't know when his contract is up, but let's just say hypothetically it's 30. It's 30 or 31. He's not getting an 8-year deal. He's probably not even getting a 5-year,
If he's
especially
30, yeah.
unless he's really good, unless he wins an MVP or he's really, really good. He's great.
8 is a good number if you're 28, you're playing until you're 36, and then if you're still really good, you'll probably get like a 2-year, maybe 3-year deal. But like the years is what did it then. I was just surprised that the AAV wasn't higher, money wasn't higher.
Yeah, and there could be.
Because I feel like he's worth more than 13.
I know
and a half or whatever it
NFL
is a
deals
year.
and NBA deals are more incentive based. I don't know what the incentives are. Like if they win a World Series, he wins an MVP or an All Star.
That's true. It could be incentive based. All right. So speaking of the Pirates, I mean, no one saw this coming. They are at the top of the AL Central. We should talk, or NL Central. Sorry, we should talk about NL Central in general because I feel like that has been a kind of a surprise division in general. The Cardinals, who we all predicted to win that division, are in 4th place
I think I picked the Brewers.
and don't look good. Well, we also said the Brewers had a chance, but we all decided on the Cardinals, if I remember correctly.
I think I picked the Brewers.
But it's the Pirates at the top of the division. They're the second best team in baseball outside of the Rays.
They looked really good.
They have the second best record in baseball outside of the Rays.
And the Orioles and the Braves.
Is it tied?
Yeah,
Are they
Yeah,
tied with
there's
the
a
Orioles and
bunch of
Braves?
teams, yeah.
They-
Okay, so they're tied. Still, they're tied. No one predicted that.
Nobody's.
And-
No.
And
I mean, nobody even saw the Brewers being that good. Like
Yeah. The
offensively,
Brewers are really good too.
offensively, they've been
Brewers
actually.
have a
It's
really
weird.
good
Their
offense.
star pitcher has been bad.
Bad, but the
Yeah.
offense is-
You know who I really like in their offense is Rowdy Tellez. Rowdy Tellez is better than people give him
He
credit
just
for.
he just owns the Red Sox.
No,
Nate said that too.
I think he's just
Nate's
better than
really
people
good.
give him credit for.
No,
It's
I think
not-
it's just that he owns the Red Sox.
I mean that there are some players that hit better against certain teams, but
Yeah, he's not a bad player.
but
It's not
no,
bad.
he has a lot of pop, and I think he can also drive the ball well to the opposite field.
I
So
agree with that. No.
yeah, no, their offense I think was probably one of the more underrated offenses coming into the season. And then we can talk about what the Cubs are doing. I mean,
Cubbies, baby.
we I think you and me picked
The Cubs.
the Cubs to
I
be
like
one of our
Cody
surprise
Bellinger
teams,
now.
man.
He's played really
Cody
well.
Bellinger has been much
He
better.
just he
this
just
year.
was he's on the paternity list. I think he's having a child, or his wife's having
Yeah.
a child. I think so.
But he
He's
looks
not
like a,
300.
he looks
That's
like a
what I'm
different
saying.
player.
He's looked a
And he's
lot.
still
He
gonna
looks
be
like a
that gold
different player.
glover outfielder.
Yeah, he's always
Yeah.
been that great of a defender.
Yeah.
He always has some speed.
Saw that he robbed a home run on Jason Avery.
Now he's just finally putting together.
You know who's been like a surprisingly decent catcher? At least he's been hot the last week or so. Yan Gomes has hit like
Oh, he had a
several
bomb
home runs.
last night.
Several home runs in the last week or
mean,
so.
I think it said last year he totaled 8 home runs the whole season. He already has 5 home runs.
Yeah, he already has 5 now.
Look at Smiley. He almost threw a no hitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, Drew Smiley. That's a name you haven't heard.
Oh,
forever.
who's the other guy? He pitched last night against the Padres. Oh,
Oh,
Justin Steele.
Yeah.
Justin Steele?
He
Yeah,
has looked
I
phenomenal.
saw like a stat.
Phenomenal.
Like,
Since last year's All-Star break, he has like under a 1.5 ERA.
yeah, and it like led the major leagues.
Yep.
Yeah,
He has like a 1.34 ERA.
talk about underrated. You know what I mean? Like I honestly, until I saw that stat, I'd never even heard of the guy before. And he has the lowest ERA since last year's All-Star break. Like they have that is literally the definition of a sneaky good team is they have guys that you've never heard of that just play their asses off.
Yeah, shout out Nico Horner. I think he's
Nico
one,
Horner,
he's one of the top
underrated
guys in the
players in the league.
batting average category right now. He hit a base clearing triple last night against Padres. Dansby's definitely cooled off. I think last time we talked, he was batting like 500. He's batting like I think like right under 300. But then Patrick
no one
Patrick
can-
Wisdom's like
Patrick
second in the
Wisdom
league
has
in home
been
runs.
ridiculous. Yeah,
Cody Bellinger's been playing.
seems like
very
he's
good.
hitting one almost every other day.
Yep.
His,
Crazy
like-
that they traded away that core last year, and they're
And they're almost better. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Was it last year or 2 years ago?
It was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. You traded away your core. Rizzo gone, Baez gone, Schwarber gone. And
Chris Bryant
I'm forgetting
gone.
someone. Chris Bryant gone.
Stroman's actually thrown up. too.
Stroman looks good, but
Ian Happ's looked good.
Ian Happ has looked good. I think Ian Happ is also underrated, but
There you go.
I think we see them. Do they make a wild card push? Are we going to go that far?
I think they can.
They could.
I think they'll be in the conversation at least.
I think they're better than what the Diamondbacks are going to finish.
Well,
And the Phillies have continued to look bad.
the loser.
it's funny because like the Phillies keep losing, but they have some of the like top like average
Talent.
guys in the league right
I
now.
know.
Brandon
Bryson
Marsh
Stott.
and Bryson
And
Stott
Bryson,
hitting
yeah.
over 300, almost
They're betting
350.
340.
Who saw that coming?
I did.
Bryson Stott.
Yes. He was very good in the postseason last year. He was impressive.
I mean, he
and
was-
every time he
He
came
was
up
good, but
in the
when we
series-
talked about the Phillies, in our prediction show, no one even mentioned Bryson Stott. We were all talking about Harper, Schwarber.
Well, I was more quiet about it because they're not like their
Harper
top guys.
Harper was injured, so
They're not your type
No, I
guys.
know. Well, we were saying
We're talking about
how are
Trey
they?
Turner.
We were saying how are they going to be without?
Because I remember, well, I didn't think that they were going to be that great. I told you I don't even think they were going to make a wild card. But watching last year's postseason, Brandon Marsh and Bryson Stott were some of. Oh, and in the series versus the Braves, I was worried every time they were up to bat.
Yeah,
I was literally afraid they were going to get hit.
I mean,
Brandon Marsh.
I think they're legit.
Brandon Marsh
players.
took Spencer Strider deep. I remember in that series. I think Brandon Marsh hit like 2 home runs that series. Bryson Stott hit like a home run and like a couple of doubles.
Yeah,
They have
He's really going to go in the
I think-
way.
yeah. I think Bryson Stott's a legit player for
Yeah.
sure. I think
They
Brandon
have a
Marsh
very-
can be too.
I think they both.
100%. Brandon Marsh is very good
I
defensively.
think Brandon Marsh.
Yeah.
The Phillies have a
He's
very
got a good arm.
underwhelming. They have a very underwhelming outfield. And last year, to help them make a World Series push, you need somebody that can play some defense.
Yeah,
Nick Castellanos kind of stepped up, made a couple good plays, but Brandon Marsh really held down center field last year,
yeah,
and that was
Yeah.
a very big
Yeah.
key point to why they
Yeah.
made such a good push.
I was just gonna say that I think it's gonna be a two-way race in your division. I think the Braves and the Mets are they're just gonna be those two. So whoever loses that division
the
will be-
Marlins being third, kind of surprising over the Phillies, but
I'm not. I mean, the Phillies are banged up, and we know their pitching limitations.
yeah,
So
And their best pitchers have not looked great this year.
Nola, yeah.
yeah.
Nola and Wheeler just pitched well, I think, last night, but Zach Wheeler and Nola have not looked great so far.
Yeah, I think it was 2 days ago we were pitched well. But- Yeah,
Even Sandy though, like the NL East pitching, Sandy has not looked that great.
no,
And I've been
It's
very impressed
surprising.
with the Braves right now. I know they just got swept by the Astros. They should have swept them, honestly, but the bullpen really was just not the bullpen. AJ Minter got owned by Jordan Alvarez. But-
Jordan Alvarez is also a top 3-4
Hitter in the entire league, yeah. But just I don't know. I'm super impressed with the Braves rotation right now. You got Spencer Strider, who I think is your front runner for Cy Young in that.
At the moment, it looks like it.
He's 3-0. He has leading the league in strikeouts. And then Max Fried just came back from his IL. His 2 starts, he's looked very good. Against the Astros, I don't think he gave a run in like 6 innings, and then they blew the lead. Kyle Wright came back. He's had 2 starts. His first one looked shaky. This last one, he kind of had control issues like in the 3rd inning, but then he settled down and only gave like a run. And then Bryce Elders has looked crazy good. He's like 5th in the league in the ERA, 6th in the league in the ERA. It's like a 1.14, and he's 2-0 in 3 starts. And Charlie Morton has looked really good too. Charlie Morton just pitched last night.
Charlie Morton
He went
just is
7. He
consistently
pitched 7
good.
innings and gave up 1 run.
He's
Oh,
just
yeah.
always been
You know who's
consistent.
looked good in their past couple, like 2 starts, is Yusuf Kikuchi and Jose Barrios.
Jose Barrios looked good last night. He looked good last
Finally.
night.
I saw an announcer talking about him changing his speeds,
Yeah,
and that's
and yeah,
He's been
we
improving.
had been talking about how
And
his,
we
how
need
his
them.
fastball had been getting hit really hard.
It was like the hardest.
I
It
was-
was the ball that was hit the hardest.
they
Yeah,
have the hardest
Yeah,
time
I
to
was-
do low.
I was watching the highlights this morning, and I saw his ball moving more, tailing a lot more than
He needs
it
that.
had
He needs
previously
some
been.
run. He needs.
I don't know what
a
he
sink-
figured out,
He needs to throw a
but
sinker or something.
I don't know if he figured something out, but it had a lot more run than it did before. It's not flat now.
Yeah.
So, maybe if he continues to figure stuff out and if Kikuchi does well, the AL East is honestly, it's ridiculous right now. I mean, just the amount of pure talent that's in the AL East is just ridiculous. It's
Crazy.
I think it's the best.
I think it's the best division.
I don't think it's even close. I mean, the Red
It's not
Sox
even
are
close.
what 12 and 13.
Yeah, they would be in
13
second or
games.
third place in
in
every
a
other
lot
division.
of divisions.
Oh,
Yeah.
they just
Almost
lost.
every
They just
division.
lost today. They're 13,
Yeah.
13 and 14 now.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
Because
I
the
mean,
Orioles just
yeah,
lost.
they did just lose.
let's
that.
be honest.
But they would probably have a better record.
But you're talking
I mean,
about
honestly, yeah. I've been mightily impressed with actually how they played. I thought they were going to be a dumpster fire. I mean, their starting pitch is terrible.
the starting pitcher.
The starting pitch is like atrociously bad.
Corey Kluber pitched well yesterday, though. For the first
Finally.
time this year.
Finally, but I mean, I've been really impressed with the bats. Yoshida's finally playing
Yoshida's
well.
waking up in a big
Um,
way. I mean, his OPS is higher than Otani's now.
Yeah, I mean, he's just got to keep playing well, better consistently. He made a good defensive play today, I saw.
Yeah, it was a really
and
good
he's
catch.
not
I
a
was
great
watching that game.
defender. He's not a great defender, but yeah. I mean, I've been, again, this is not a playoff team. This is not a
No,
playoff team.
I mean, I think, yeah, I know. I think
No
they're-
way,
I think
there's-
they're just gonna barely miss the playoffs.
oh, there's
They're
no
gonna-
way.
I think they're gonna end up
They're going to be
some-
the 5.
I think they're gonna end up somewhere around 80 wins. So that's around 500.
I feel like 70.
There's too much games.
I don't think
They
that
were
offense is,
78 last year, and I think this team's better than last year.
I know, but
is that fair?
yeah, I mean, it's also very early. We have to remember that. And we
Yeah,
also,
I mean, we are judging it off of.
we also have to
We're judging it off
remember-
of month.
more guys are gonna get hurt. More guys are gonna get hurt. That bullpen has been exceptionally good,
Yeah,
You can't-
Kenley Jansen,
and you can't.
maybe looking like the best reliever signing. of
But
the
what I
offseason.
think is going to make the difference for the Sox and why I think they're going to finish less wins than last year is I feel like the AL East has gotten better. because the Rays, I think, are going to win 100 games, and then you're going to see the Orioles
yeah.
making a push for 90 wins.
I think
And I think the
Orioles-
Yankees and Blue Jays could win 90 games as
Yeah.
well. So that's where I just feel like
It's
the Red
just
Sox
it's so packed, but
We
Yeah,
haven't even
there
played,
is more room. We'll touch on the Orioles in a minute.
we haven't even played the Yankees.
Yeah.
We haven't
The
played.
Yankees,
played-
dude. The
I don't think
Yankees,
you played the Blue Jays.
honestly,
haven't
the
played the
Yankees
Jays.
don't look that
You
great.
played Baltimore
I
twice.
The
still,
Yankees don't scare me that much. The Jays scare me. The Yankees do not.
the
scare
Yankees
me
don't.
that much.
I mean, the Yankees aren't healthy again. That's
Nope.
always we've
That's
discussed
what it
this
is.
a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, they put what IKF has been playing the outfield, and he looks like he's got great speed, but he's not healthy.
No.
So I mean, Aaron Hicks put a bunt down the other night with 2 outs, and it was like, what are you doing?
He needs to be out of the league.
I watched.
I'm surprised Aaron Hicks still plays for the Yankees.
I watched Talking Yanks, and Booney was like, "Yeah, it's not a bad decision. We needed a base runner there." I'm like, "What? What are you talking about right now?" He's like, "We needed a base runner there," and I'm like,
No.
"Aaron Boone's the worst manager in the AL East, but besides that,
The AL East is just it's an incredibly stacked division. But what with what you were talking about with them having to play all those teams, you are playing less of them this year. Like there's less
Oh,
games
that's
against
true.
those
Right,
teams this year
right.
because you're playing everyone in the league this year,
Right.
as opposed to before when you weren't playing hardly as many teams in the other league.
right?
So they do have less games against the AL East, but I do agree that the AL East series will hurt them.
What are they right
In
now?
general.
They are 2. They got swept by Tampa in 4, and they lost. They've only won 2 against Baltimore. How many?
They beat them the
They,
first series.
they won the first series against
2-1.
Baltimore, and they just lost it. Yeah, so they won.
They're 3-2
won 2
against Baltimore right now.
No, I think they're 3-3.
They're 3
It's 3-3.
Yeah,
They're
they're
3-3.
3-3 because it was.
So they're 3-7 against the AL East right now, which is not horrible.
If
but-
you take out the Rays and the Pirates, it looks a lot different, and those are the top 2 teams in baseball
yeah,
at the moment.
I mean they've
Rays are number 2.
Well, I mean,
of
You
teams
know what I-
we've
you know
played.
what I
Of
mean.
teams we've
I'm
played,
kidding.
are the 2
I'm
best teams we've played.
well, yeah,
by
but
far.
the Pirates are also tied for second, so technically I'm still correct. But the point is, the AL East is just a
Okay.
ridiculously stacked division. The Orioles have looked insane. I mean, the Orioles.
Adley Rutschman.
And we had talked about this before the season started. With our predictions, I think we all thought they were going to be a surprise team. I think they're making a wild card. I think my wild card prediction looks good right
If they
now.
finish second in that division, that's crazy to me.
That would be insane.
It's still crazy. I mean, the Yankees, for whatever we want to say, I mean, Garrett Cole, I think Garrett Cole is a
Unbelievable.
Garrett Cole's
sleeper.
been unbelievable.
I could make an argument he's the Cy Young. If you don't want to give it to
I
him, if you have
would.
Otani fatigue, he's the Cy Young.
Yeah.
But I mean, that'd be better. Than
How's
the Yankees.
McClanahan been the last couple starts? Because he was probably on a
I haven't really heard, but who I've seen that
track.
looks
too.
like the front runner of the AL, other than Otani and Cole, is Sonny Gray.
Sonny
He's
Gray
the
lowest
has
ERA in
had a
baseball.
resurgence year.
He didn't throw great against the Red Sox, right?
McClanahan?
No, didn't we face Sonny? Right?
Yes, we faced Sonny. Yeah,
He didn't look too great against.
I don't think so. Yeah,
No, so
I think that might have been.
they're also a
the
fast
worst
A
start
team.
of
They
the
played pretty well, the Twins.
year. The Twins
The
have played.
Guardians have
Aren't,
not looked great.
aren't they leading the division right? The Twins.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They just beat
Guardians
the
aren't even
Yankees in
500
a
right now.
series for the first time since 2001.
yeah, they've
Which-
lost like 20. I saw they've either lost or tied a series, but they haven't won one in like the last 20 consecutive series against the Yankees. That
That's
is
so crazy.
That's insane.
I mean, did you see Byron Buxton's reaction to
Yeah,
when someone told him he was like, "I was 6."
he had a bomb
2001.
last night. So
If Byron Buxton stays healthy, I mean,
they're gonna win that division.
does he stay healthy though?
They're gonna win that division. If he stays healthy.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. Yeah, I think we all kind of had the Guardians as winning the division and wrote the Twins off a little bit.
It wasn't last, but it was 2 episodes ago. I talked about the Twins, and I said I think they're going to win the division.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking like that right now for sure.
Wait.
Or
I
might-
gotta give a shout out to them because Texas Rangers.
Yeah,
Texas Rangers.
Yeah.
Texas Rangers, man.
there has been so much turnover this
We
year,
love
and I
it.
love it.
I
I love
fucking
it
love
so
it.
much.
If you
It's
look-
still very early.
If
but,
you
like,
look, the Astros are clawing their way back. They're like 2 games.
No, they're going to win.
I mean, the Astros are gonna win that division.
But the Rangers,
Have they
they're going to
played-
be
Are-
second.
I mean, I think we
Rob's
need
looked
to see
really good.
more, but we need to see more like into the season. But I think their Rangers and Astros are kind of close right now.
It's 13 and
Like,
11
I think
to
it's going to
14
be
and
close.
10. They're a
Yeah.
game behind.
Mariners are not.
The Mariners are not going to finish second in that division. I'll take that.
Okay, that's a hot. That's
Mariners are
that's
not
a sticky.
finishing
That's a
second.
hot board take right there.
I don't think it is because
Well, it's
You look,
still
you have-
early.
you have the Astros, you have the Rangers, even the Angels have been playing well. I'm not going to say the Mariners are going to
Not
finish
like
fourth,
really
but I think the Mariners are going to finish third.
They've had like
I think
3
the Mariners are
players,
finishing
but,
third.
They have 2 players that play good every
but
night.
everybody else has been terrible.
Well,
Right,
Taylor
which
Woods-
is why I'm
Woods been good.
going to say the Mariners are going to
Brandon
finish third.
Drury needs to
Didn't
play
that
better. Which
what's his face?
Logan O'Hoppe.
He just got hurt.
Yeah,
He's out the rest of the year, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's out. He's out.
Yeah.
He was playing good. And then Hunter Renfroe.
Oh, Renfro's been mashing the ball actually.
He's been good. And then Taylor Ward's on it. He's a good player, but he could play better.
That catch.
Brandon
was
Drury
incredible,
needs to
though.
play a lot better. Like, and then they have like Renfrigo or something. Like that. It's
Renfro.
like, yeah,
Renfro.
like, it's like yeah. Like
Rendon has grabbed more fans this year than home runs, honestly. So
he's just like insane.
that's like a really bad contract
I mean,
He's making like 40 million.
for a team with bad
when do you
contracts
think-
like Pujols is.
do you give him 1-2 more years and then is it time to put him out to pasture?
They're like already is.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think you. Those are so tough because you really can't throw them out to dry because you just gotta like eat the money. I mean, the Red Sox waited till the last minute to do with Sandoval.
Yeah,
The
that was bad.
the Angels like the last second. Pujols was like 40 out there playing, and he was all right, but like he was 40. He's still got a while left on that deal, right? He's got 5-6 years left, probably. Oh,
Rendon, yeah.
you can't eat it that early. I think you got to play
Well,
him
how long do you give him? Is it 1, 2, 3,
probably
3?
Yeah, probably until 2 years left in that deal. I'd say you can't eat it too early. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. Which is why I was asking the question, how long do you give them? I wasn't saying you should eat it now. I don't think you should,
Right.
but I'd say 2 years. I'd say 2 years.
That's
And
fair.
If he doesn't get notably better.
That's fair.
Okay.
All right. Should we talk about? We kind of already talked about pretty much all the teams that are
Right. I think
worth
we talked
talking
about
Maybe
everything.
the Dodgers too. The Dodgers have been playing a little bit better
Padres still don't
recently.
look that good.
The Padres
Juan
pitching,
Soto might be the most disappointing baseball player this year.
It is by far.
the Padres pitching doesn't look good either.
I know.
Shout out
But
Xander
still,
Bogaerts though.
Xander Bogaerts. Did you see that play he had last night?
That backhand.
I really
Yeah,
wish
That
we
was
had.
crazy.
Imagine we still had that left side of that infield.
I know Devers has been really good on defense.
Like you sent me
Not
a
to go back
stat.
to the
You
Red
sent me a
Sox.
stat. We in the 96th
He's the
percentile.
96th percentile outs above average. Yeah,
That's very good.
He was a
really
bad defender when he was a bad. Like I don't know if he
his
was a really
defense
bad
has improved
defender.
so much. If he's that high, I mean,
Juan Soto's back at 180.
He was
Yeah.
like 170. He was 0 for 4 last
Yeah.
night.
That is terrible.
Machado
it just
is not
doesn't
good.
look like.
Machado has not looked good. Tatis is batting like 111 still in like 26 at bat.
And of course, everybody went crazy when he had 1 home run.
Yep.
He is like he's the
becoming-
John Moran of the NBA.
He's becoming over.
You mean that?
But the MLB. He's the John Moran. Is that crazy of me to
That's
say?
not a terrible thing. I respect that.
He is
I
over,
think
he
we're
is
looking
over,
at a small sample size.
he is
I mean, only
overhyped.
has-
He is overhyped. He's great. He's overhyped.
Yeah, I mean,
He's not a
his
great
career
defender
overall
either.
has been a small sample size because we're talking about the COVID season, right? The shortened season,
Right?
and then we're talking about basically 1 full season
And he was like the 3rd best player in baseball.
in the full season. Yeah. But again, we mentioned earlier in this podcast, just because some guys have 1 or 2 really good years doesn't mean they are good players. So I think right now,
Tatis is definitely a good
I think
player.
right now with Tatis, we're just looking at too small of a sample size in his career overall, not to mention just this season because he just came back to judge. But
No, I'm saying
Just
no.
have to see.
I'm saying he is a good. I agree with Ben. He's a very good player, but he is overhyped. He's definitely overhyped, and he gives me John Morant vibes. He's
He's a top player in the sport, but he's
elevated too early.
to something else that he's just not yet.
He's like made out to be
Possibly.
like a god.
Especially when he needs to. He can make very flashy plays with the club, but he's not a great defender.
No.
And that's why he's playing in the outfield. He's
That's
great.
Yeah,
He's a
he was
right field.
playing that field. He had a play yesterday that he made look good, but that he did not take a great route on that fly ball. I mean, he's not meant to be an outfielder.
You know, with Bogarts.
Did he ever play the outfield in the minors?
Mhm.
I don't think so, right?
Well, look at Mookie. Mookie's played
Yeah,
shortstop.
Mookie is playing shortstop. He's actually playing a decent shortstop.
Imagine you guys still had Mookie and Bogarts.
Honestly though, like I don't, as a Red Sox fan, I don't regret the Mookie trade because
Oh, I do. I mean,
no, let me get my sense out first. First of all, you traded away Mookie Betts for 6 months,
For
realistically.
Alex Verdugo.
Alex Verdugo,
He's a good player. He's a good player.
he's hitting over 300 right now. And he
Is-
looks
is
like
he
he
Mookie
looks like
Betts?
in the best form of his career.
See Mookie
No,
Betts.
but my point is, you only traded away 6 months of Mookie for Verdugo, and now your platoon catcher Connor Wong. So like you got good value back out of the
Mookie
trade.
went to the Dodgers and won a World Series.
Yeah, that was after was that after or before the extension?
I don't remember. But you also have to remember, Paul.
They extended him. He could have gone somewhere else in free agency. They got a good return for the 6 months that they gave away. That's my point.
But okay, let's be honest about this. We knew, or everybody on the planet knew, when he was traded to the Dodgers, including Mookie himself, he was going to resign there. There was no question about that. Whoever made a question about there was talk, but we knew he was going to resign there. That was the thing that Mookie definitely said. It if he was going to be traded, I want to go to a place where I'm going to sign. It was between two teams at that point. It was between the Padres. It was between the Dodgers. Okay, the Red Sox made the mistake of trading him not that off. They traded him too late. They were talking about trading him the offseason before, and they didn't do it. That's when they should have done it. And they talked about trading him 2 years, even a year before that.
Yeah.
That's when they should have done it. And they got, I mean, I like Alexander Verdugo. He's a very good player.
He looks like he's gonna have a career year this year.
I
right
don't
now.
want to jinx it because he's a very streaky player sometimes.
As of right now, that's why I said
I like him a lot. But if you're telling me that Alexander Verdugo and Connor Wong are what you got in return, and then Jeter Downs is gone, if those are the guys you got in return for Mookie Betts, you lost. I'm sorry, you lost the trade because the Dodgers have him for 13 or another 11 years.
I think this trade is so far behind us that it doesn't even matter at this point.
Well, as also the other problem is I don't want to go off on a tangent here, but they also didn't trade Mookie. The whole point of it was so they could re-sign the other guys. They were going to give up Mookie and re-sign the other guys, and they didn't do that. They just re-signed one of them. They let go of Benintendi.
Benintendi, to be fair, when they let go of him, did not look good. But
Right, but he was a lot better than the alternatives that they had.
But I think revisiting that whole history is kind of besides the point of the fact that Mookie does look like he's good at playing shortstop right now.
That is true.
That was just kind of an unneeded tangent. But do you guys want to?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Do you guys want to get into the A's thing right now? We have 8 minutes left. Do you think we'll wrap it up and then, or do you want
This Ace thing should
Stop
be
it
quick.
now. to A's? Okay.
Las Vegas A's, baby.
That's
So-
all we have to say.
Let's
So
go
it's-
A's.
But it's not official yet. Technically, they still.
Correct.
Okay, so I'm just gonna say this right now. I don't think the A's, as they currently are, can survive in Vegas in that market because they don't spend enough money to put a good product on the field to be interesting to survive. You know what I'm saying?
It's a good take.
So
It's a fair take.
I think in order to survive in Vegas, they need to go through an ownership change where the new owners will be willing to spend the money to get the free agents and put a product out there that is actually going to be compelling to people.
Well, I would make the argument that the owner is purposely gutting them. I saw Jeff Passan talking a little bit about that. It was Passan or somebody else, I can't remember. Or it might have been Kent Rosenthal, I can't remember. But they're talking about how he's purposely gutting them. He's purposely making them suck so bad that they can move and that they can improve it.
So do you think they'll be better? You think they'll start spending more money when they move?
Yes, because I think that's a hot market right now, and we already saw an Oakland team move. There, right?
Yeah, true.
The Raiders. So and it's
The
gonna.
Raiders weren't historically bad.
Well, they've been bad the last 20 years.
They've been bad, but they haven't
The
been as
A's
bad
haven't
as
been
the A's.
historically bad either. Just the past couple seasons.
I'm saying as they are right now.
Right, but
yeah,
I mean,
but you were
Like
just
the
talking
Raiders
about
when they
the
moved, at the time that they moved, were not as bad as the A's are now at the time that they're agreeing to move.
I agree, but I would say I know fans aren't going out to games now, but I wouldn't go out to games that the owner is purposely screwing over the team.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, their fan base is trying to pull a reverse boycott or something like that. That's what they're calling it.
just like so stupid. It's actually like the dumbest thing I've heard. But
They're like, they're
for
like
them.
trying to show up to the games to not make them sell the team, but I think it's probably too far down along in the
And
process.
they're not gonna be in Las Vegas for a while. That stadium's not gonna be built until I think they were saying like 27.
27, yeah. To be fair, all they have right now is the land. It still hasn't gone through approval of MLB yet.
Right.
So MLB needs to approve it first before it's going to be official. And is that with the commissioner's office, or is that like all the owners?
So the NFL, it's the
I know-
owners, and the
I know the
MLB, I
owners.
would assume, is also the
The
owners. And
That's what I thought.
think
I just didn't want to be wrong.
I think it's either, you guys can look, I think it's either 2/3 have to approve it, or it's all of them that have to approve it. I can guarantee they don't want to play in Oakland
I
anymore.
thought I saw 75%.
It might be 75%. I know the NFL, some of it's 2/3, some of it's 3/4, some of it's all of them, but I think if it is 75%, then that's only about 20 owners out of the 30. And it's the start of that expansion, right? It's the start of that
Yeah,
expansion.
There's been a lot of talk of expansion teams, which is a whole nother discussion, but
They're building on the strip, right?
Yes,
The biggest strip.
yeah, they would build on the strip. I think
It's just a weird baseball market to me.
it seems like a strange baseball market because it's a lot of tourists and not. I mean, there are fans that live in Colorado that or Nevada. Sorry, I don't know why I said Colorado. Nevada that don't really have a baseball team around them
Right.
that would go root for the
Right.
A's. But Vegas, in particular, the city of Vegas itself is such a tourism city
Right.
that, our fans, are people going to want to spend one of their, vacation days, let's say under a week, probably, one of those days going to an A's game?
What do you guys think? You
I
two?
think it's a toss-up. It could either work very well or work very poorly.
That's very hard to say.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Look at
Do you guys think they work in Vegas in general?
I mean, I think
I do get the point of like tourism and like potentially drawing more like fans and stuff like that, but like at the same time, it's like people. I mean, usually it's diehard fans that no matter like how bad the team is or whatever, like they'll always support it. But like other people, like especially new fans coming, they look for like the exciting teams, like stuff like that. But that's just not what the A's are. But moving to
As
Las
of right now.
Vegas, I mean, maybe if they get like new unis or something too, like change
They
some
would.
stuff,
They would have to get new unis.
then I mean, there's a chance. But
There's a
I couldn't-
chance. I think
there's
it is
no way I could be,
dependent
like,
upon them
one way or
spending
another.
more money. Is that fair?
I agree with that.
I think they just need to. Yeah, they need
Spend more money.
a general manager that's willing to
Yeah,
risk more money.
Yeah.
I feel bad for Oakland people, man.
I do too.
Losing both of those teams.
Yeah.
In a matter of like a 5-year span, probably
Yeah.
5-year span, that
It's tough.
stinks.
Do
And
they-
they're good fan bases too.
Yeah.
Like they're really
They're
good
loyal.
fans.
Yeah. Do they have any teams left?
Well, I mean, it's close to San Francisco, so Golden State.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of California teams in general, but still.
Those are they're not gonna become Giants fans. They're not gonna
Yeah.
become 49ers fans, so they're gonna have to root for Las Vegas. But I've seen some good stories with the Raiders where those Oakland people still go out to watch them in Las
I wouldn't
Vegas.
doubt it.
And I wouldn't doubt that's
Oh yeah,
the
I'm
case
sure
with
there's
the
diehards with any.
that's the case
Any
with the A's, but we're still 4 years out on this, and it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I think it's getting through the league
And
pretty easily.
we'll see. It should be fun. Can't wait to see the new
It'll be interesting.
new unis. Honestly,
It'll be very interesting to see play out. All right, so are we good there? We want to end this one there.
Love
all right,
the
cool.
outro.
Do we really have an outro? We don't really have an outro.
Thank you for listening to part 1 of Three Bros and a Buddy episode number 1. We'll be back for
LG.
part 2. If you want to check out the full stream, it is on our live streaming channel at Three Bros and a Buddy on YouTube.
Yep. All
Thank
right.
you,
See
folks.
later, folks.
Of course, you added the add to the end of it.
How was my intro?
I liked your intro.
That was really good.
Did you like my intro at least?
Yeah, I liked it.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry if I was being mean when I said stop interrupting me, but I was kind of pissed because this is like a time in 5 minutes.
You actually did it like 3 times back to back.
No,
I know what
I
you- I
only
know.
wanted to say like 5 words. That's the thing. I wasn't going off on a tangent.
I
but
know,
I could
but
see why you got annoyed.
I was trying to do it politely, but also passive aggressively, like, don't do it. By the way, don't say anything crazy. We're still live.
I'm
blue.
Shout out the Portland Sea Dogs and Blake.
blue.
I got a 42 there.
No. Actually, don't do that.
Just
No,
wait,
this,
actually,
this part still goes up on YouTube. So
So,
Hey man, they're definitely gonna see it.
stop. No, like actually stop.
don't.
Shout out High Blue.
Thank you.
Got that dog in him. He's a
Yeah.
great owner.
No, I mean we just like
We just gotta talk about the NFL stuff, right? And then-
yeah. Well, yeah. We can. Are we gonna talk about the NHL?
No.
No, we're not talking about the NHL. All right, we'll scrap
Are we
that.
only talking about the Olympics?
Oh,
and
and the NFL. Yeah, we'll talk about the NFL and quickly mention the Olympics. Yeah, sorry. So, sorry for like cutting you off in the middle
No,
of
you're
the
good.
trade discussion. I just thought like that wasn't really a productive road to go down.
You're good.
Whatever, bro.
You good?
You do gotta let them talk though.
Yeah, I know.
Whatever, bro.
You good?
Well, I think I might have talked a little bit too much in that A's part.
Well, we also talk more in the actual like NBA.
Yeah,
talked
and
for
you
a
guys.
while.
Yeah, you guys talk for a lot of it. I don't feel like we're unequal right now. In
I just think
In
you
the
have
sharing
we have
time.
more knowledge in MLB every day and NBA, and then you have more knowledge in like the business because you care more about business.
So
Did-
today we
Did-
talk about how
What is this thing about the Olympics? I mean I read it, but like
so basically
I saw that they already made $4 million, but
4
like,
million sale or they have
In
4 million
sales.
ticket requests. So
but like they
the
don't
reason
have
we're
it
the
for
reason
another
we're
year.
talking about it is the fact that they already made half the total of like their money that they expected to make, and we're still like over a year out.
That's crazy.
Ridiculous.
Saint, we're up 8-1 against Farmington.
8-1.
Bottom
Good.
four.
All the
Thank
NBA
Jalbert,
series.
Jalbert threw it in, Murph threw it in.
Going. Should I say we talk about Dylan Brooks or just I'm gonna say all the NBA playoff series are going and news around the league.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's a good one.
Sure.
Around
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Do you want me to continue doing the intro or what's up? What's up with that? He wants to do it. He wants to do it. You want to do it, Ben?
for part 2. You want to do it for part 2?
I don't even know what to say.
What should I say for
part 2?
Oh, Ethan pitched in the first game.
MLB?
I think he
Oh, he
closed it
did?
out. I think he closed out the game.
He pitched through a third of the inning.
Right now.
Only a third of the inning.
Yeah.
He got one out. The hell? Did he like give
I
up
hope he's
pitching?
okay. What the hell? That's
Wait, what happened?
he threw 3 pitches.
What?
He got the out.
Maybe it was just at the end of an inning.
Yeah, it was. Huh.
Okay.
I was worried. I was like, what the heck?
Okay.
Only 3 pitches though?
Okay. So we are ready to start part 2. Who's doing the intro?
You want me? Are
How about, how about you try to get it?
I'll try next week.
Let's hear how good
You're a
yours
little
is.
nervous, Ben?
Well,
You're a little nervous?
I'm a little.
For the part 2s, I'm just gonna do welcome back to episode 10 and be like it's part 2. Like,
Okay.
it's not the same intro.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Are you doing it or me?
I'll do it.
Of course.
Hello, folks. Welcome back to episode 10 of Three Bros and a Buddy. So we just finished up our MLB topic for the day, and we still have NFL Aaron Rodgers signing with the Jets and the NFL draft being tomorrow to talk about, as well as the Paris Olympics in 2024. So let's get right to it. Aaron Rodgers officially gets traded to the Jets, who also got a 15th pick in the draft and a 5th round draft pick. The
Wow.
Packers get the 13th pick in the draft now and receive a 2nd round pick and a 6th round selection this year, as well as a 2024 2nd round pick. So, I want to say, who do we think won this trade?
Oh, I have to say the Jets,
I
right?
mean, yeah, but the Packers did get like a good amount of draft picks, but like I feel like it's a fair-ish trade. You know what I mean? The Jets definitely got what they needed, which was good.
Well, respectfully, my best friend's a Packers fan,
quarterback.
but they're gonna suck. Like, they're gonna be terrible.
They're not gonna do anything.
Really bad.
They didn't make the playoffs with Rodgers this past season.
You don't think-
Should.
I mean, yeah, Jordan Love is obviously not Aaron Rodgers. I don't think he's a bad quarterback, but
Oh, he's a bad. He's a bad thing. The one game he started against Kansas City, he was bad.
Terrible, yeah.
I mean, he was fine against
That's
Philly
also-
last year on jump time, but
Also, that's a small sample size. But
if they were ready to move on from Aaron Rodgers, they would have
They
done it
would've done
early.
it
He's
early.
been in the league now, Paul, for 4 or 5
Yeah.
years. I mean,
yeah,
I'm not. I think they think that
but he's inexperienced is my point. Even though he's been in the league 4 or 5 years, he hasn't played very much.
I mean, that's a problem if we're going into year 5. Don't you agree?
And he was
Yeah,
what, your
but-
third pick?
Okay, yes,
The third overall pick?
yes,
He
but
was at the end of the first.
but
Lance
what were
was-
they gonna do? Start him over Aaron Rodgers? No.
They
So,
could have moved on from
Aaron
Aaron.
Rodgers is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all
They could
time.
have moved on from Aaron. They moved on from Brett Favre, and Brett Favre is one of the greatest quarterbacks ever.
And they went
Yeah,
to
true.
Aaron Rodgers.
I understand
Well,
what you're putting.
Aaron Rodgers was still winning. My point is,
Brett Favre was
Jets-
still winning.
the Jets got what they needed, but I think the Packers didn't do awful in this trade. I don't think it's a bad trade for the Packers.
They got good compensation. That second round pick could
Yeah.
become a first round pick.
Right.
A conditional first. I
Yeah.
agree.
I think they got good return on investment.
But do you agree that they're going to be terrible this year?
I don't think they're gonna be as good as last year, no.
They weren't even good last year.
Right, exactly.
So do you think they're gonna be good?
I'm
this
not
year?
gonna say they're gonna be terrible, but I don't think they're not.
Are they better than Minnesota?
No.
Are they better than Detroit?
No.
Probably not.
Oh, not
Probably
even close.
not.
Not even close.
Detroit's not even
Definitely
good.
not. I mean, yeah, no, we've talked about how on this podcast, that
Chicago?
we'll see about that.
I would say they're slightly
We'll see about
they're
that.
slightly a better roster than Chicago right now, but Chicago has a better quarterback, and I would say they're developing something interesting there. I would take the Bears.
Yeah.
I would too.
I would take the Bears.
I would too.
Yeah. I think,
With,
you know, I
is
think
Matt
this
LaFleur,
suggests
is
the
Matt
Packers.
LaFleur, I'm gonna ask, is Matt LaFleur a good coach?
Are you
Bears
asking
also
me
just
or-
got-
I'm asking all of you guys. I mean, they're general, but we were having a discussion.
Say that again.
Matt LaFleur, do you think he's a good head coach? Or was he a victim, or I shouldn't use the word victim, or was he his situation helped by the fact that he had one of the greatest quarterbacks ever? Is he
It was
actually a good coach?
100%.
I think obviously that
it's-
helps any coach, but
Well, yeah, I mean, you had Aaron Rodgers, who was a, back-to-back MVP just 2 and 3 years ago. They made the NFC Championship and lost to the Bucks.
Lost to the Bucks.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, they only get that far because
Niners
they
too,
have,
the year before.
Aaron Rodgers.
they make it that far because you have Aaron Rodgers, you have the MVP. And I think this year you're gonna see like some real coaching.
they're gonna regress. I'm not gonna
and they're
say
not gonna be good,
they're
yeah.
good. I think it suggests.
He's a product of his quarterback.
They're gonna have to go into a slight rebuild, which is why I think the fact that they got a good amount of draft picks, and not really too low, other than 1 6th round. It's a first round and 2 second rounds.
And you can trade those picks down.
I think that's good return on investment for what they are gonna have to do, which is rebuild a little bit. But let's talk about the Jets side of it. Do we think the Jets get? Does this make a difference? Do they make the playoffs? I like their offense now. I'll tell you that. I like their offense.
Or I like this. I think that they will because last year they had one of the best defenses in football.
Yeah,
They had
Sauce Gardner.
yeah,
Maybe one of the most locked on.
they had
corners
one of
in
the
league.
best defensive cornerback core. And then
That's
the biggest problem. I mean, they were 6-3 at a point. I think they were leading their
Yeah.
division.
Yeah.
And then you just see Zach Wilson is not an NFL quality starter, and Aaron Rodgers is.
you see that
also
quote
up in old
that he
age,
put
but-
out a while ago. It came up again as soon as
Oh, he's
He's
ready to
back.
play. He's ready. He's gonna make his.
he's going to give them hell in practice every week.
I can't
He
wait.
said that a couple months ago when they asked him if they had signed a veteran QB, but everyone knows that
Zach
that
Wilson's
reporter
name?
meant. Yeah, he said he's going to give them hell in practice every week,
That's funny as hell.
which that's just not. It's not even going to be close. It's not going to be a
Shut the
competition.
fuck up.
It's not going to be a competition. I like the Jets offense now after this. Like you have Garrett Wilson's a very good receiver.
They're also in a good division.
Lazard. Lazard.
Yeah, I mean they already have that connection with Rodgers and Lazard.
Brees Hall.
Brees Hall's very good. I think I like their offense. I do. I think it helps their offense a lot
For sure.
having a new
O-line
quarterback.
is okay. Yeah. I mean, I've gone back and forth on this a little bit. I think Miami's a better constructed roster if Tua can stay healthy.
That's what I'm saying. It's
Agreed.
Them or
I think
I
Buffalo.
think they can
is-
be better than the Pats.
Oh, the Patriots are screwed. The Patriots are going 0-6 against a divisional
But
opponents.
I just
Is that the best division in football? Do we have the balls to say that? It's kind of close.
You don't have the balls, but
I think I got the balls to say that,
You
man.
don't
I
have
think that's the
balls.
best
You
division.
definitely do not have
I think
balls.
that's the best division in football.
you gotta
AFC
have
West.
balls to say that.
AFC West is still pretty good. But I mean, yeah, I think that's the third best team in that division. I think they can get a wild card spot, but they're not being Kansas City.
No.
Right. The book is still out on Robert Saleh as a head coach. They're not being Kansas City. They're not being Cincinnati. Buffalo they can beat.
They could beat Buffalo.
Buffalo they
I
can
can
beat.
see
depends on who
that.
they play. like
I
you
can see
said.
it.
Baltimore they can beat. The Chargers would be fun.
Yeah. Jacksonville.
And Jacksonville.
I like Jackson. I mean the AFC. We've talked about the AFC is wide
It's
open.
just loaded.
But
It's just
You're going to get Rodgers for 2 years. That's what's going to happen. Rodgers is going to retire after 2 years. Woody Johnson, the owner of the Jets, he is thinking of this as in the sense like Tom going to Tampa, right? Like Montana going to the Chiefs at the end of his
They
career.
want one Super Bowl.
Peyton Manning going to the Broncos. They want the Super Bowl. They
Mhm.
want the one Super
Brady
Bowl.
going to the Bucks.
Right.
Yeah.
It would be great if I hate the Jets. I'm a Patriots fan, but it'd be really cool to see the Jets win. Let's be honest here. It'd be cool to see the Jets win. the
Yeah,
Super Bowl.
because they were so awful.
Yeah, it's this decade.
Yeah, they've been so bad.
They haven't won a Super Bowl since Super Bowl III when Broadway Joe beat Johnny Unitas and the Colts. I mean that's it's been a really long time, but they don't have the roster. They don't quite have the roster yet, and their defense is not. They're going to take. Their defense is still great. Sauce is great, and who's the other corner? They have two
Isn't it
corners.
like Elijah Moore?
No,
That's
Elijah
That's
Moore is the wide
that's-
receiver.
He
yeah,
got traded.
He
to
signed with the Browns.
Yeah, he got traded or signed.
Traded? No, it was signed.
It was signed maybe.
Because we talked about that.
Who are their
free
corners?
agency.
Is DJ
I'm
Reed?
looking.
Yeah, I think it might be. I can't remember his name. It's pissed me off.
Regardless, I think their roster got better, but I agree that I don't think they compete in the playoffs to the point where they're going to beat a couple of the top teams in the AFC, like where they get to the Super Bowl.
I mean, I think their ceiling's
DJ
obvious.
Reed.
DJ, thank you.
Sorry.
You're right.
I think their ceiling is playoffs.
Their ceiling is like the Super Bowl because they have Aaron Rodgers. But to me, the realistic ceiling for them is probably
Championship game,
the divisional round.
divisional.
I agree with that.
Because I just have a hard time seeing because I think
There's just no way they win.
they can't beat the big three. I think we
No.
would agree the big three right now is Kansas
No.
City, Buffalo, or Cincinnati.
There's just
I think they have a chance against Buffalo. Could have a chance, hypothetically.
I think so. I think they could definitely they could split against them, and we'll see it twice.
But I don't think the Bengals or the Chiefs. I don't think they're beating those teams.
But also, let's be honest, Rodgers is lazy. He is not like Tom who likes to study a lot, like Peyton. The first year's gonna be tough for him, right? Because he's got to learn this whole new playbook, learn the system, and whatever you want to say about Aaron, he doesn't like to do that stuff, right? He's very talented, so he gets away with that. So I think the first year's gonna be a struggle. I think the real test is the second year, if and hopefully he plays in that second year. But I think you're gonna see them finally click around. When we talking on this podcast around Thanksgiving, we'll start to see them click. I think, but they're gonna be interesting to watch. I don't think it changes too. I mean, they finished third in the division. Finished fourth in the division last year. They'll finish third this year, but I think they'll be a 6 or a 7 in that wild card chase, and maybe win a playoff game. But I think that's the ceiling for them. And I want to ask you guys,
That's fair.
what do you think this does for the NFC? Because right now, like I said earlier, Jalen Hurts is arguably the best quarterback in the NFC, besides maybe Dak.
No, I would agree
and
that
Stafford.
Jalen Hurts is better than Dak. So yeah, Jalen Hurts is then the best quarterback in the NFC.
So what do you think this does for the NFC? I know the Green Bay didn't make playoffs this year, but the NFC is wide open with a lot of bad teams. What do you guys think about the NFC? Yeah. Especially the NFC North.
I mean, I think you see the Vikings are the team that's going to win the division. Maybe the Lions.
I'm giving it to the
maybe
Lions.
I'm gonna give it to the Lions.
I think the
man.
Lions are too.
It's going to be a battle between those two.
I mean, the Vikings, they have just Justin Jefferson. And what, they still have Kirk Cousins as a
Yeah.
QB?
Captain Kirk.
He's
Thielen's
just-
gone.
Yeah, like they're gonna win games, but they're just
Kirk can
Just
be
not
really
gonna
good, but
win
he's
it all.
I would say inconsistent.
Their secondary is also really bad. like really bad, like
Yeah.
terrible. Detroit's just got a really good constructed roster.
They do.
And their
They're
coach.
young and they're hungry, and they have a lot
I'm
of
hungry
talent.
too. I think the Lions win that division. I think if Carolina gets a quarterback this year in the draft, I think they win their
I
division.
think that's a good segue into
I
the
think-
draft.
Yeah, I think Jalen Hurts is definitely the best quarterback. Dallas, I think, is going to be right there with the Eagles, but I still see the Eagles coming out as the number one seed in the NFC.
I'm gonna say it.
Because you have that. I think Jalen Hurts going to be the MVP.
I'm gonna say it. It's gonna be a hot take on this podcast. I said I think Detroit can be in the NFC title
They're
game.
going to make the Super Bowl.
I'm going to say the Detroit Lions will be in the Super Bowl next year.
Wow,
I'm with Hammy on that one.
that takes some balls.
I'm with
I
Hammy
like
on that.
that.
I'm with Hammy on that.
I think Jared Goff, if he can just be effective, they can win.
was
the
effective
NFC.
last
They
year.
can win the
He was
NFC.
effective
They
last
can
year.
win the NFC.
Yeah.
What did they start last year?
They
I
were
feel
like
like they started
they were
terrible.
bad,
They were like
yeah.
1
They were like
1-5,
1-6.
1-6.
and then they ended up
because you think about it too,
almost.
San Francisco Lance, we don't know how he's going to look.
Yeah,
Matthew Stafford, I think Matthew Stafford should not be playing football. Like his back is terrible, so he should not be playing.
Yeah.
Seattle, you don't know about Seattle, Arizona. By the way, their uniforms are terrible. If you saw them, they're really
Very
bad.
terrible.
Terrible.
The Giants
It's
are going to be as good. Detroit,
yeah.
the Detroit
wow.
Lions. Imagine the Lions and the Jets in the Super Bowl. That'd be crazy.
That
That'd
would
be
That'd be
That would be a
unbelievable.
wild Super Bowl. Yeah, I mean, I think as you're going through it, I think the only other team is the Eagles. I mean, if you think about
It's
it.
hard to go back to back.
The Eagles.
They
It is
lost
hard
a
to go
lot,
back
too.
to back,
The Eagles are better
Lost a
than
little
the.
bit.
The Eagles are so much better than the
Oh God.
Eagles.
Oh
But
God. Oh, God.
I
Shout out
think
John Benson.
I think Ben mentioning whether Carolina's going to take a quarterback in the draft or not is a good segue into the fact that the
The-
NFL draft is tomorrow night. For those who are
Wait, what is
listening-
it?
Tomorrow night. For those who are listening,
Tomorrow night.
it is Wednesday, so it's Thursday night. Just in case you're not listening on Wednesday, when I say tomorrow night. So, do we think Bryce Young is the number one overall pick?
CJ Stroud.
Cut and clear.
CJ Stroud.
CJ Stroud.
CJ Stroud.
I think Stroud has some limitations, but I'm worried about Bryce Young's his durability. I like Alabama football too. I've watched a lot of Alabama.
I like Alabama football as well, but
You like
I have-
everybody, so we know that.
no. But most people have Bryce Young going.
I'm
number
going
one
CJ
overall.
Stroud too.
I think it's Stroud. I think Carolina had like 7 representatives from their team
Go
come
to
and
see.
watch
I
it.
mean, those are the
That's
two
perfect.
top quarterbacks in the draft. There's no.
I think Carolina
There's
takes
no
CJ
question.
Stroud. I think they like him. I think Bryce Young goes to the Texans.
There's rumors Houston might trade down and get some more.
Houston might trade down. Really?
Get some defensive.
Where'd you see that?
I've just been listening to talk shows like The Herd and ESPN and stuff
Okay.
like that, and they've just been saying it's rumor they might trade down.
I don't know about that. I mean, like they need a quarterback.
We also have to
I don't
remember-
think Davis Mills survives another year with the Texans.
You also have to
So,
remember they have a defensive-minded head coach in D'Amico Ryan, so he wants to probably build that defense up. That was really, really bad. So, yeah, I could see that. I also think it's possible. I can't remember the draft order. I haven't been really paying attention that much. But it could.
So it's Carolina first, Texans second, Cardinals third, Colts fourth,
Seahawks.
Seattle fifth.
Then Detroit.
Colts could get Bryce Young. I could see that. I think that would work because
The
Bryce.
Colts are projected to take Anthony Richardson by a lot of.
I've
Or
seen that
Will
a lot.
Levis.
I've seen that a lot.
Anthony Richardson or Will
Anthony
Levis.
Richardson.
Bryce Young's supposed to also be off the board.
Anthony Richardson's a project
He said he was going to be a Hall of Famer. I saw a quote the other day.
from himself.
I like
Yeah.
that.
I like that confidence, but
Like, great confidence, but I don't know.
he's got some inconsistencies. I could see him being the next Lamar, but like I really could. But he's actually a better thrower
Thrower
than
than-
Lamar
yeah.
was. But again, there's accuracy issues there, I think, and I haven't watched a ton of film. I've watched a little bit of him. Levis is the one I'm not. Everybody likes Levis, but or not.
Yeah.
Not everybody likes him, but I'm not sold on. I'm not sold on those two. I'm sold on Bryce and Stroud as being long-term starters, but I think there's more limitations with Bryce than there are Stroud.
You do have to remember that Bryce Young had a ridiculous receiving core. I mean, you could say that of the Alabama quarterbacks of the last 5, 6, 7 years.
I would also argue though that Bryce Young is exponentially more talented than Tua and Mac.
Yeah,
Definitely
yeah.
Mac.
I think Bryce Young could be one of, outside of maybe Jalen Hurts, yes, he went to OU, but one of the better products to come out of Alabama at the quarterback position recently. Maybe not, I'm not going to say I don't have the balls to say the top yet.
Why do you
But
say?
It's just a phrase.
You like balls
It's
or
just,
something?
no, it's just a phrase. It's just a phrase. Anyway, I mean,
It's just a
CJ Stroud, to his credit,
the expression.
also did have Garrett Wilson for a little bit, and he had Chris Olave, so that was a good receiving core as well.
Correct.
But I do think CJ Stroud has maybe a higher ceiling. I think.
Yeah,
I think maybe we haven't seen the best of him yet.
that's like your best take of the day. I think honestly. That's a really good
I
take
like that.
because he was good against Georgia's defense last year in the national semifinal, and they have like literally that whole defense is going to be day one starters in the NFL. So that's a good take.
Yeah.
That's a.
So, I feel like they're kind of. I mean, we're talking about interchangeable quarterbacks in terms of 1 and 2. In terms of who goes
Will
first, who
Anderson
goes
Jr.
second.
should be the first guy that's off the board. That's not or Javon Carter.
I'm seeing Will Anderson. You mean Jalen Carter? I'm seeing Will Anderson Jr. going
Jalen, my bad.
3, 4,
Jalen
5,
Carter.
6 a lot. In a lot of
Wait. So
predictions.
wait, I didn't hear what you said. What'd you say?
Jalen Carter.
No, who did you say? Who did you say after? Who did you say after Richardson and Levis? Did you say somebody else? Or no, were you saying where you saw those guys at?
No, I'm saying you said Will Anderson Jr.
Right.
I'm saying Will Anderson Jr. I'm seeing 3, 4, 5, 6 in a lot of predictions.
Oh, okay.
Like somewhere in that range.
Okay.
That's a good take too.
So, but like I'm looking at a bunch of
Where are you saying Jalen
predictions
Carter?
from CBS.
Yeah, what about
Jalen
Jalen?
I mean, Jalen Carter looks like 5 or 6 right now.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, those are two of the best defenders, I think, and this is not. It's not a great draft. I would. It's actually a good draft. Not a great quarterback. It's okay quarterback draft, but yeah. I mean, I think it's gonna be fun. What do you want the Patriots to do? You're a Patriots fan. We'll go to you. You're a Bengals fan, and you're a freelancer. You like everybody, so.
I would like the Patriots to take a wide receiver. I would like the Patriots to take Jackson Smith and Jigba.
I want to take another lineman. A tackle.
They're predicted to take an offensive tackle, I think.
I want to beat tackle.
That would make a lot of sense. I like that. Maybe another edge rusher? That would make sense. That would work.
Any of those would work.
Who are you a fan of?
Yeah, what's your team?
He's a Patriots fan. He's not a.
Are you a Patriots fan?
I'm not like really a huge football
I
guy.
was speaking from me.
Usually I don't know. My dad's always watched the Patriots, so I guess you could say I would be a Patriots fan, but I've also liked Carolina
You've also liked the Ravens.
or the Ravens too. Yeah, I guess.
So basically, he's a bandwagon because
Alright,
he
so
liked the
basically-
Panthers when they had Cam Newton when he was MVP. He liked Baltimore.
I mean, you
when
can like
Lamar
certain
was
players.
was like.
Well, you also have to remember we were like
Interesting.
12 when
And
like
I'm
Cam
not-
Newton
I'm
was
not
the
a-
MVP.
I'm not a football fan. Like I don't watch it, stuff like that.
So what would you have the Patriots take? Or what would you have the Panthers take? We'll go Panthers.
Panthers, I would take
Who's
CJ
your
Stroud with it.
CJ Stroud.
I think CJ Stroud has a higher ceiling than
Then
Bryce
Bryce
Young.
Young.
I
Yeah,
also don't want Belichick touching the receiver. He cannot draft. Like he cannot draft on that side of the
the
ball.
receivers, yeah. I mean,
It's a lot better than, don't get me wrong. Jackson Smith and Jiva is a lot better than N'Keal Harry was.
yeah.
But at the same time, I just think they need a tackle because Trent Brown. If you listen to me on Take Two, I reminted that guy. They cannot stand Trent Brown. He is terrible. He is awful. Now
This is interesting. I'm seeing Hendon Hooker at 19 going to the Bucks.
he's a project. So I mean,
Yeah, he just tore his ACL, right? It was ACL.
yeah. Well, I'm not even just saying that. I'm just saying from the standpoint that he only had one good year. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna be interesting. We'll see. I mean, I don't got any other thoughts on the draft.
Who would be the Bucks starting quarterback this year?
Baker
Oh yeah, I forgot they signed Baker. Wow.
or Kyle Trask.
Yeah. So, I mean, I could see them drafting a quarterback too, but I don't think.
I think
those
Paul
two-
would make a good quarterback for the Bucks.
I
If they're starting Baker, I think
mean,
you
if
would.
he- if
I
he-
think you could play really good
I
quarterback.
mean, if he could seal
If,
the
uh,
line.
good.
Oh Jesus!
No, but seriously, like,
If you can see over the line.
I don't know. I don't know.
Wait,
if
how
there
tall
would
is
be,
Baker
like,
Mayfield?
I don't know if there would be
They
a
probably have
decent
like 6
quarterback
foot.
left at 19.
Right. I don't think Hendon's the first round.
Paul would be like, I knows he's open.
That's
He,
he's listed at 6'1".
he's not.
Why'd you kick me?
So yeah, no, I don't know if I see the Bucks taking Hendon Hooker. At 19.
I agree with that. I think they
Yeah.
need. They probably need some defenders. They probably need some. They did not rush the passer well, so it's probably some edge. I mean, they need a lot of stuff. Edge guys. They need linemen. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm seeing edge, offensive tackle also. Luke Van Ness, Darnell Wright. And this is a bunch of people's. I'm looking at CBS's predictions from like all their analysts.
Right.
So there's a bunch of different predictions.
I mean, I'm good on the NFL draft.
Yeah, I'm good in the NFL
I'm
draft.
good too.
All
More
right,
topic?
so our last topic of the day, Paris Olympics 2024. So they have sold 4 million, or they have 4 million ticket requests.
Applications
Right,
when they're watching.
right. And the ticket sales officially start on May 11th. So do you guys want to talk about this before I say I like anything that I was thinking about?
I mean, yeah, the Olympics are really popular. It's going to be in Paris, right?
Yeah, Paris.
Very exciting. Summer, obviously, Olympics. It's going to be the first one since, oh, Jesus, I'm all over the place right now. But it's actually going to be the first one that happens in the right year because the Tokyo one did not happen in the
Right,
right year.
yeah.
So it's
So the first one since 16 to happen in the correct year.
right, yeah. And I mean, I like the Summer Olympics, obviously, because, you know, I like basketball and stuff. But besides that, I'm more of a Winter Olympics guy. But yeah, it's awesome. You know, it's a global event. It's a bunch of great sports. So yeah, it's good to see.
You two want to get something out before I go?
I mean, I guess, it's exciting. Should be fun, make a lot of revenue.
Yeah, to put on that point, they've basically sold half the tickets that are predicted to sell. I know, I'm gonna go ahead in a second. They're predicted to sell half the tickets that they're going to sell already over a year out, which is
Yeah.
ridiculous. I
Yeah.
mean, the fact that they've already sold, are going to sell, predicted to sell, like, starting on May 11th. I think it's only a 2-day slot to buy tickets, so it's gonna be a short time period. It's gonna be a 2-day slot, so the fact that they've already sold half of their tickets is ridiculous. Ben, you wanna go?
Yeah, I think the Olympics are great. I think it's a good way to, bring the world together through sports. They're fun game sports that they all play. I'm not like a huge fan of them. I probably won't watch it, but it's definitely a good way to bring in a lot of revenue for sports. And obviously the people love it since they've already almost sold all the tickets that they need a
I
year
think
before
France is a
getting
good
that.
place to hold an Olympics.
I agree.
I agree with that as well.
People go for the culture, not just for the events. So,
We're a big
unless we have any more thoughts on that, I think that's about good for today.
I think that is good.
I agree.
All right, folks. Thank you for listening. As always, follow us on our socials, 3bros.1buddy on TikTok and Instagram, and go check out our YouTube channel, 3 Bros and a Buddy. And we'll see you next week.
Shout out Danny Burgers.
So sign off.
I like that.